Rios here, Program Director for the National Kidney Foundation serving Texas. Thank you so much for joining us for our second session of Staying Home and Staying Healthy. We hope you enjoyed last week's session where we partnered with our friends at It's Time Texas. Please check out the valuable resources they have to share. This week, we're focusing on a very important topic, managing your mental health. We will be joined by patient advocate Precious McCowan and our partners at Mental Health America serving Dallas. A little more about Mental Health America. They are a fellow nonprofit organization dedicated to addressing the needs of those with mental illness, as well as promoting mental health for all Americans. We are so excited to bring you this session. We hope you enjoy it, and we hope you learn a little more about caring for your own mental health. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us. I'm so happy that we are joined today by two wonderful panelists. We have Precious McCowan and Bonnie Cook, and I am going to pass it over to these ladies to introduce themselves. Precious, let's start with you.
Hello, thank you, Amanda. I am Precious McCowan, as Amanda stated before. I was diagnosed with end-stage renal disease in 2010, which is also the same year that I received my first kidney and pancreas transplant. Unfortunately, both organs only survived for 7 months, and I had to restart dialysis. I did dialysis for 9 years before I received my second kidney transplant in 2019. During the 8-period wait, waiting patiently for my second kidney transplant, I began to serve as a ESRD patient advocate, both locally within my state and nationally. So through this service, I strongly believe that a strong community is built on efficient advocacy, and change is established when voices are heard. So that's me in a nutshell.
Thank you so much, Precious. All right, Bonnie.
Good morning. I'm Bonnie Cook. Thank you for having me. I'm thrilled to be on the panel with Precious. I'm looking forward to our discussion. I'm the Executive Director of Mental Health America of Greater Dallas, and we're located down in Deep Ellum. And we have been in Dallas for 74 years, and we work to reduce the stigma of mental illness. And we do advocacy work. We do classes for people with mental health issues. We do free peer support groups, and we do home visiting. And we provide resources for people to help them deal with depression, anxiety, and serious persistent mental illness.
Thank you so much, Bonnie. So we are going to jump right into our discussion. We're going to hopefully have just an open, question and answer session with both of you. So let's get to it. So the first question I wanted to address is, and Bonnie, we'll give this to you first. Can you help us to understand the signs of depression, signs that it may be time to seek professional help?
Sure. The signs of depression, they are some typical signs, but all of us are individual. So these signs might not be the same for one person as they are for another person. But common signs of depression include a change in your energy level. You may sleep too much. You may not sleep enough. Agitation. The things that you used to enjoy doing, you no longer do. Excuses for not getting out and seeing friends and people that you care about and normally enjoy spending time with. Either a loss of appetite or an increase in appetite are all signs of depression. Flying off the handle, being angry, is a sign of depression. So sometimes the signs and the typical stereotype of what you think of depression as someone in the bed all day and can't get out of bed, that is a very common sign. But there's also the sign of anger and irritability. So those are some really basic signs of depression possible. And then usually there's a duration. So if this lasts for more than 2 weeks, that's usually a sign that you might want to start getting some help. And another sign for me is if it starts affecting your daily life, your daily relationships, your daily routines, or if someone tells you. I do suffer with depression, and my husband can see a depressive episode coming before I do. And it usually infuriates me when he can see it before I do. I've struggled with this since I was in 2nd grade. And so even now when he says, Bonnie, I think you might be getting a little depressed. It's like, no, I'm not. I can't believe he's saying that. Rarely is he wrong. And it usually takes me a week or 2 and I go, yeah, he was probably right. So listen to your family, listen to your friends. Sometimes they can see things that you can't.
Great information. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
And so along the lines of, when to seek the professional help, unfortunately, we've heard from some of our patients that providers in their area may be limited, or maybe they're booked, months out and they can't get an appointment in a timely manner. What would be your recommendation for cases like that?
That is very common here in Texas. Texas ranks last in the country in access to mental health care and access by either provider, be it the ability to pay, the ability to have insurance. What we suggest that you do is to call our office or go to our website, mhadallas.org. We have free support groups, like when I first mentioned, that people can attend virtually right now. And they meet weekly based on the particular topic. So we've got a support group every single day. They can also call our office and we will advocate for them to find someone in a quick manner and to assist them if they need to get to somebody as soon as, say, today. And we'll do what we can to get them. We've got, resources and some people that we can call and referrals that we can make to help people get to where they need to go.
Wonderful, wonderful. And for everyone watching, we will definitely provide these links, follow up. You'll be able to access these critical resources. So we'll provide the phone numbers and websites for you all. And so Precious, I don't know if you want to weigh in on this question, or if you've battled with depression, for both of you, other tips for self-care, self-management, things that someone could do if they feel they're struggling.
Yeah, I agree with Bonnie. I also struggled with depression, and basically after the loss of my first kidney and pancreas transplant, it only survived for 7 months. And on top of that, I experienced the loss of my 2-year-old son. And, on a happy note with that, I decided to donate his organs to give someone a second chance at better health. So I was depressed, and I ignored the signs of depression. I isolated myself. I was tired. I didn't manage my diet nor my blood sugars as I was supposed to, because I was depressed and I really didn't understand what was going on. I thought it would be something that, I'll grieve for a while, with dealing with the loss of my transplant, and then 4 days after that, dealing with the loss of a child. I just thought it was something that I could eventually get through. Eventually I did, by talking to a spiritual advisor, just actually talking it out with my family. For a while, I hid my depression, and it wasn't good for my health. But, tips that I have to, manage depression is to, connect with others. It's good to, as Bunny mentioned, to connect with like your friends and your family. It's good to have that social support. Also, I would say, participate, practice relaxation techniques. I would do breathing exercises. I would also do like yoga and meditation. And I didn't think that those things were effective, but they really are. So those are my tips for, managing depression.
Great tips, great information. Thank you, Precious. And, speaking of connecting, I'm just going to throw this out there. Obviously, we're in different times right now. So over these, past few months of we've been quarantined and maybe haven't been able to connect with our friends and family how we usually would, have you all found creative new ways, or just more phone calls, more just anything you wanted to share about during these, special circumstances, how you've been finding ways to connect and make those connections with friends and family?
I use the telephone a lot more. My family's not here in Texas. They are in Georgia. And the good thing about all this pandemic is I've had more time that I could pick up the phone and call, whereas before, with the hectic work schedule, I wasn't able to do that. And with the way that Texas is set up, and, you don't have driveways, and everybody has these alleys, so you never really get to see your neighbors. So, now when neighbors are walking, I'm pretty much an introvert. But, I've had the windows open at times, and normally I would never have waved, and now I've waved to neighbors I've never even seen before and introduced myself from a distance, so that I do feel more of a connection. And like I said, I've got my next door neighbor who's got the 1-year-old, and I get joy just watching her walk across the driveway and the sidewalks. So yeah, I'm having to make a real conscious effort to try and do that outreach. I do worry that once this is over, my tendency is to kind of hide in the cave, and I do worry that I'm going to go back more to wanting to. It's easier to stay closed up in your room, and it requires that effort to get out, and it's just become so easy to get wrapped up in this and to stay home. And so, for those of us that do suffer and have to figure out coping skills, I think we're all going to need to be aware of the fact that once this is over, that we're going to have to force ourselves to go back out into the world and try and do that outreach and connection with people, even though we don't want to, it scares us, and we can come up with every self-esteem reason why we're not going to reach out to those people.
Really, definitely, yeah. Same. I'm finding that I've met neighbors during this time, and speaking to more people than I ever had before. And so just one silver lining to all of this.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about anxiety. I know for our patients, there can be a lot of anxiety when they're newly diagnosed, or just a lot can happen at once. Starting dialysis, managing new diets, new schedules, a lot of changes. Is any advice on managing anxiety?
Question for me?
We'll start with Bonnie.
All right. Yeah. I can only talk to, general, anxiety. I think part of anxiety is being able to recognize that you are anxious, and then don't apologize that you're anxious. Don't to yourself, and this question of always, I should. So the question of I'm anxious, I shouldn't be anxious. I shouldn't be worried about this. I shouldn't. Of course you should. And that part of when we deal with this anxiety and we deal with this fear, part of anxiety is the inability to control something. And of course, you're not going to be able to control this. Part of what we do with generalized anxiety is there's different techniques. There's different breathing exercises you can do. There's different what ifs scenario. So there's exercises in, okay, what's the worst thing can happen? Okay, what if? And you back this up from your worst case thought to the best case thought. And as you work through that, that helps with some anxiety, talking to somebody, and like I said, part of it is being able to listen to your feelings and being able to articulate and say to yourself, this is scary. Yes, it ought to be scary. And then I think journaling is very helpful. Exercise is really good for anxiety. I'm not sure that you're able to exercise right after you've had dialysis or anything like that. But the ability to move any part that you have. And I do think part of the anxiety too is a connection. When I'm anxious, honestly, sometimes I have to hold a stuffed animal. Sometimes I can be, I want somebody to hug me. Sometimes I do not. So I think you have to figure out what works best for you. Again, this is all, we can read all the books we want and say this is the standard, but you have to think what's best for you and give yourself permission to be anxious and give yourself permission to realize that you're going through a really scary time.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely some great exercises to think about. Precious, did you want to weigh in? Any thoughts or techniques that you've done that particularly help with managing anxiety?
Yes, as a former dialysis patient and also a transplant patient, there are many anxieties that we experience, with just the concerns of our health, just the whole dialysis itself, just how it weighs and tears on your body, just the things that you go through mentally, physically, and emotionally on a daily basis. And I'm able to manage my anxiety more because I'm involved. I found out when I keep myself busy, such as being an advocate and connecting with my peers, that has helped me with my anxiety. Also, when I got involved with my healthcare, when I started asking questions, when I started working together with my healthcare team, that helped with anxiety. I know as patients, sometimes we have this fear of, like a white coat fear. We feel like whatever questions we have that, that's a stupid question. No question is dumb. It's, you're looking for answers. And so basically, when I got involved with my healthcare, being an advocate to help others and working with my peers, that has helped me alleviate my anxiety. And also, I would like for patients out there to remember, being involved is key. Being involved in your healthcare is key. So just remember in your mind, nothing about me without me. So that kind of helps with some of the fears of anxiety of being on dialysis and receiving a transplant.
I always love hearing you speak, Precious. And I want to say that again. So nothing about me without me.
Yes, nothing about me without me.
I love that. And we may have to do a whole segment about being your own advocate, taking control of your health, being part of your care team. I think that's so important and so related to our discussion today. So thank you for bringing that up. I love that. And we all have to remember, I don't go into an appointment without having my questions written down. I know sometimes, I get anxious at my appointments too, and they may try and rush you out sometimes, but even I say, oh no, one more question, pull those questions out, have those in advance. Definitely so important. Yeah, when you're taking control, being a part of your care, being a part of your treatment, that can definitely make a huge difference. So thank you so much. One other question we received I want to thank our wonderful social workers who weighed in on this discussion as well and provided some input and questions. But another question was, those who may struggle with body image issues, due to treatment or procedures. This could be for both, either of you ladies. Can you speak to maybe the mental aspect of body image and how to maybe work to improve those feelings for your overall mental health? I don't know, Bonnie, you want to start?
Yes, I can address that. When you take depression medicine, one of the symptoms of a lot of medicines for depression and anxiety is weight gain. So when I first started taking medication, I gained 40 pounds in 2 months. And it really did wreak havoc with what our society and what I thought our society thought attractiveness looked like. And even at one point in my journey, I decided I didn't want to take the medicine because I didn't want to be overweight anymore. And of course, if I didn't take the medicine, I was going to end up back in the bed and not able to function. So I had to do a 180, and I worried about what people thought about the way I looked. And finally, I had to go back more to a spiritual aspect of, God didn't make anybody that, is junk. And that if I saw someone else in my situation, if I saw someone else that wasn't, 120 pounds and gorgeous of what I thought, or if I saw someone that was overweight, scars, bruises, anything like that, what did I think of that person? And it dawned on me, I would never judge them based on their outer appearance. In fact, I would turn around and go that these scars, these bruises, these struggles make them who they are and make them this unique, wonderful creature. And a wonderful human. And so that helped me a lot to think, okay, if they are really concerned about the way I look, then that's probably not somebody I really want to have in my life or associate with. And so I've been able to turn that around to some extent. And I still hate to see myself in pictures or anything like that. But I've turned around and thought, I'm not that way. I'm going to give people the benefit of the doubt and think they want to get to know me for who I am and for my life experiences. So that's how I've tried to deal with the body image aspect.
I love that. That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Bonnie.
Mm-hmm.
Precious, any thoughts on that?
Yes, and thanks for asking, because now I've been struggling with the body image aspects of everything, and I have a transplant, and some of the medications cause weight gain, and I'm on a higher dose of those medications, and so I've been gaining weight, and I haven't been very happy about it. However, one day I decided, I'm gonna do what's best for me. And so I was like, if I want to make a change, I have the ability to exercise, move around. I understand everyone don't have that ability, but I do. So I decided, to kind of do something about it, start to work out, start to change my diet. And most importantly, I try not to let it kind of overtake my day or overtake me thinking about my weight too much. I always look at, hey, it could be a lot worse. And I look at the fact that I do have a transplant and I no longer have to do dialysis. And I always say it's like a pros and cons to it all. So, yes, I struggle with the whole body image aspect. And I can't lie, I still kind of contemplate it, but I try to find other things to do that takes my mind off of it. So I try to do what I can for myself. Basically, I try to do the natural and let God do the supernatural. So, but I'm excited that I have a transplant, and so that becomes my focus instead of me gaining.
Thank you so much. Yeah, focusing on the positives, or focusing on the things that we can control, the things that we can change. Yeah, that's so important. I did want to, mention as part of this discussion some of the resources that the National Kidney Foundation does offer as well. Where, and especially during this time where we may not be able to meet in person, of course, that's something we like to and hope to offer in the future, our patient education seminars where we can all come together. Those are on hold at the moment, but you can go online. We have online communities where for any stage or whatever stage you are in your journey, dialysis, transplant, you can go on and have an online support group, ask questions, have a forum to discuss. So I just wanted to mention that, and we'll link those as well. We have NKF Peers, and so it's a patient-to-patient service where you can speak with someone who's going through a similar journey. And then we also have NKF Cares, which is a hotline that you can call if you have questions, and that's for patients, family members, anyone impacted by kidney disease, so that you can be connected with a professional and help answer any questions. And so I just wanted to open it up for any additional resources, Bonnie, that Mental Health America offers, and just any other, I know we've just kind of scratched the surface of this topic, but I think this is a great starting point. And so as we kind of wrap things up, yeah, just wanting to see if there's additional resources or things to share.
Yeah, if you go to our website, www.mhadallas.org, we've got free anonymous online assessments you can take. So you go to our website, click on the assessments, and you can take these assessments to see if you may be suffering with some depression, or if you're suffering with some anxiety. So if you're not quite sure, it will, you can take the test. It takes 5 minutes at most. And then you might get a better idea if you're starting to question if that might be an issue. You can go take that test. It's anonymous. We do not see the results. You don't have to put your name in there or anything. And then it helps provide you with some resources of where you can go next. So that's a resource everybody can use right now from home. And then even when we get back to quote the real world, you can still use those resources. So that's something else that we do for everyone.
That's wonderful. Okay, so free assessment tool on the website. Perfect. Thank you. Any other resources, tips, things, Precious, that you can think of, or just want to reiterate some of the wonderful things you've shared that have been really helpful for you?
Yes, I've gained from this web series. Bunny has relayed some very valid information. And an additional resource that I would like to add is the ESRD Network 14 website. We have patient and family resources and resources that speak to mental health. Also, the National Patient Family Engagement Learning and Action Network, their website has a lot of resources that have been created by patients for patients. So they also have a lot of resources that could be utilized and that are helpful and that will guide patients and their family members. So yeah, but I'm grateful for this web series, and I would like to just thank Bunny for the information that she provided today.
Oh, Precious, I'm just thrilled to even listen to you speak. You are an inspiration, and like I said before we started, I said I was sad this morning, and you have lifted my spirits just by anything that you have to say. So I'm very blessed to have been on this conference call.
Thank you, Liz, so much. I love that we were able to come together today. I thank you so much for sharing your expertise, your experiences, and hopefully this is just the starting point of a relationship with Mental Health America. Precious, I think, she's spoken for us before. So grateful to know her, to be able to continue to work with you. So again, this is such an important topic, such an important discussion to have. And I just want to thank you both again. And everyone watching, we will, you'll be able to connect with these ladies, with the resources that, that were discussed today. We'll share those with you all. And we hope everyone is staying safe and healthy. And we will see you on the next segment of Staying Home and Staying Healthy. Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you, Precious. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much again to our panelists for joining us today. Please check out the links below for all of the resources that were mentioned. Of course, kidney.org is the National Kidney Foundation's main website where you can be connected to NKF Cares, our patient information helpline, NKF Peers, our patient-to-patient mentoring program, as well as our online communities. Thank you so much again for joining. Please continue to stay home and stay healthy.